We'll be starting our ceremony this morning. Good to see everybody out. Mother Nature throwing another surprise on us. 70 one week, 20 the next. So it's kind of like the old saying, though. Here in Tennessee, if you don't like the weather, just hang out. It's going to change. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to hear silence. Turn your cell phones off, please. We'll start our program with a word of prayer from our brother William Fawley, who's a retired colonel of the U.S. Air Force. So, Brother Ron, if you would come on and open up the ceremony, please.
Okay. Starts. Next. I invite you to please stand as we ponder the God of the universe and thank Him for a miracle. Gentlemen and brother, our Heavenly Father, our precious Lord, here we are together again. We've come to remember those who have answered the call, who stepped forth in the moments of need to be able to put their life on the line. We remember through the ages of the 250 years of this nation that you have been with your people. And today we celebrate all veterans, those who served in the colonial army, Navy, and Marine, who of themselves this year are celebrating 250 years. I pray now that as we recognize our needs this day, that we will not forget those who are still with us from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the interloping years of rough conflict, and the need for men and women to stand in defense of this land. We pray for those who now serve, and we pray that we as veterans will ever be ready to answer your call when you say, come. And in His now receive your blessing upon this service, to be reminded again of your care and keeping to this great land. For we ask this in the almighty name of the God and Creator of the universe. Amen.
Let us remain standing, please, a moment of silence for those POW with us. If you remain standing, please. We will now have the posting of our colors, combined color guard from the American Legion of Postal United Our veterans of foreign wars, post 5772. Cover guard, post the colors.
It's put on. Orders, port. Oh God. Or the boat hard. Oh.
Whatever. Oh. American Legion, post 190. Commander Jim Patterson, post your colors. Veterans of Foreign Wars, post 5772. Commander David Carter, post your colors. If you remain standing, please, Jacqueline Bush will now do the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Join me in placing the colors, rendering a proper salute. and join me as I pledge of allegiance.
Reason. Hope.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, the sugar gladly, which is under God, indivisible, and speak.
Porter. Hope.
Color guard, retire your colors.
You call it on. One time. Hope. Earth. Over the on.
You may be seated. Thank you.
Our guest speaker today is Colonel Christopher R. Dean, Air Force retired. Colonel Dean is a retired United States Air Force Judge Advocate. Colonel Dean was commissioned in 1982 through the Air Force Reserve Officers Training Program at the University of South Carolina. He has been a lawyer for over 40 years. He has served in many capacities and legal positions at almost every level of the Air Force, including the Air Force headquarters and Joint and NATO commands. He served around 20 of his 30 years overseas. In 2002, Colonel Dooley won the Keenan Award as the Outstanding Air Force Operations, and he is the international law attorney. Colonel Dooley's last overseas assignment was as legal mentor for the 203rd Corps Afghan Army Forward Operating Base Thunder, Afghanistan, located along the southeastern Afghanistan-Pakistan border. His primary duties were to train Afghan judges, prosecutors, defense counsel, and criminal investigators. He also oversaw United States and NATO investigations. His decorations include the Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal with 4 Oak Leaf Clusters, Joint Service Commendation Medal, and the Air Force Commendation Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster. He's a former firefighter and law enforcement officer. Colonel Dooley enjoys shooting, hunting, and fishing. He is a devout Christian and is interested in maintaining traditional family values, preserving our constitutional rights, especially the Second and Fourth Amendments. Colonel Dooley is involved in local area Veterans Council, Military Officers Association, American Legion Post 14, his church, and he was part of the group that established the Hamilton County Veterans Treatment Court. And he is my personal friend and he's probably mad because I read the whole thing.
I only wish my mom was here to hear that. She's 90 years old, and she positioned lives in Murfreesboro. I was with her about a month ago with my wife and sister brother-in-law, and we were bringing in some odds and ends to make it more holy where she's at. And she asked, "Where's Chris? Where's Chris?" And my sister said, "Well, he's right over there." And my mom said, "That's not Chris. Chris is much better looking than that guy." What's that? You always love your mom. It's a pleasure to be in Dunlap today. Should I go closer or farther apart? More bit of company now, cheers. Where you been? Okay, there we go. How about that? Again, it's a pleasure to be in Dunlap. I hunt over here. William lets me hunt on his land. I often will see lots of deer, but I don't get to shoot much, so we'll see how it goes. My hunting buddy is Dwayne Turner. You may know Dwayne. He's up there now, just rubbing it in that I'm down here, and I should be up there with him. But I loved Dunlap, and I love Sequatchie County. But I'd have to be remiss if I didn't wish the Marines a belated birthday. Their birthday was 250 years yesterday. And so how many Marines are out there? Okay, raise your hands. Okay. I see a few of them. I brought new crayons today. I wanted to give you all a fresh pack so that we'd be able to do that afterwards. See me, I have a little things in my speech here today that you can color and it'll make you feel hot. Then they get the big one. My dad was a Army veteran, and I couldn't think of anything that I can do with the Army to kind of pull their leg like I did with the Marines. I learned how to jump out of helicopters from the Marines, and that's why I became an Air Force officer. But Army as well. Now, William is a real live or a retired peace officer. I was 3 times, but I did retire doing it. One of the things I wanted to do, since I go to the jail quite often in Hamilton County, I have 2 tickets for a special tour for the Hamilton County Jail, and I thought I would give it to William so that he could kind of see how the inside of it goes and all the rest of that. Now, Dave Carter is also here as well. I do a little bit with him. I have 3 tickets for Dave and his group because he's a sailor. Everybody knows sailors get into trouble and they get more understanding of how the jail works. So I have 3 tickets for the Navy. Singing afterward, Dave, I'll get you those tickets. I was in the Air Force for over 30 years, and one of the things that I've been impressed with lately is the need for Air Force people to get a little bit more physically fit. I was with Senator Blackburn yesterday. We were selecting people to go to the academies. And one of the issues when you want to go to the academy is you have to have the physical fitness. And we did a good number of Air Force folks who want to go over there to Colorado Springs. So I brought some muscle milk here. I worked for me for 30 years. If you want to go to the academy or an Air Force guy needs a pep up, here it is. Come see me afterwards. I got some muscle milk for you. Aim high. Aim high. Coast Guard. We also interviewed some folks who wanted to go into the Coast Guard. Any Coasties here today? To me, the Coast Guard is the most premier of all the services. When I was in the Pentagon, I was on the Joint Staff. I was also on the Air Staff. And I did a lot of processing and staffing. And the best persons to do all of that were the Coasties. They were smarter, well-led. They are really misunderstood because they do everything. You want to take an oil field derricks out in the middle of the ocean, that's the guys who go do that. If you want to protect the waters of the United States and waterways, coasties do that. If you want to be on the Tennessee River and make sure that you have proper navigation, the coasties do that. So I don't have anything to poke fun at the coasties except to say they're probably the most premier of them all. And if you're a coastie, I'd be very, very proud. And if you see one, slap him on the back because people don't even know what they are and that they're on the cities. Okay? Now, on a more serious note, I want to turn to a topic near and dear to my heart. Americans never forget, and this is what Veterans Day is all about. We remember the brave and honorable men who served in our armed forces since the founding of our nation. And the American Legion, I'm a post commander over in Chattanooga, and they've given us some talking points, which I've integrated into my little speech today. And I have some personal stories I want to talk to you about. On the 5th of September, 2023, an Army veteran from Chattanooga received an overdue but well-deserved recognition almost 50 years after his brave and legendary service. Captain Larry Taylor was awarded the Medal of Honor for his Vietnam heroism. And here's his Vietnam coin. He gave this to me when we went to the White House and we watched President Biden award him the Medal of Honor. He's a very special person to me as well because I knew him. On the night of 18 June 1968, Taylor, an Army helicopter pilot, together with his gunner, Chief Warrant Officer J.O. Ratliff, rescued a 4-man long-range reconnaissance patrol team of LRPs that had been surrounded by Viet Cong forces near the village of Ac Go Cong. After exhausting his ammunition, making several passes over the enemy positions, Larry, his call sign was Dark Horse 32. My call sign was Ruffian Knights P. Landed his 2-seat Cobra helicopter, and the 4 LRPs jumped aboard that aircraft, which only had 2 seats, and hung on to the pylons and also to the rocket pods as he lifted them up and flew them with safety. This was something that had never been done before. And if you know the back end of it as well, he had been ordered not to go rescue them. He defied orders, and he went and did it anyway. And as he was bringing them back to safety, he got chewed out over the radio by some of his superiors. And his answer was, well, what do you want me to do? Take them back? That was the kind of guy he was. He did the right thing, felt it was the right thing, and he took the responsibility for his actions. He was originally awarded the Silver Star, but there was a mix-up as to why that happened. And the senior officer that was in charge of all those things was killed, and so he should have gotten something higher, but because of a snafu in the military, which hardly ever happens, he got the Silver Star. But his bravery inspired his fellow soldiers to push for the nation's highest military award. And with the help of General E.B. Bill, my general, when I was in Korea, I was his lawyer, and others, he knew how brave Larry was. They succeeded in getting him to become the recipient of the Medal of Honor, our highest decoration. Greatest. As I said, I was in the White House when Larry was awarded the medal by President Biden. And the thing that I remember about Larry, this tough guy, this guy that did amazing things. He's in front of everybody. All these high-level dignitaries are around him, and he's starting to pump. He was humble about his award, and he would say he was just doing his job. He loved his country, he loved his fellow soldiers, and he loved to spin. He flew over 2,000 combat missions during Vietnam, was engaged by enemy fire 340 times, and he was shot down 5 times. He later died at his home on Signal Mountain on 28 January 2024 at the age of 81 after a long struggle with cancer. While Medal of Honor recipients are an elite class among special groups that we call veterans, Larry's love for his country and his fellow soldiers is typical of the men and women we honor today. Ours is a brotherhood and a sisterhood. It's a bond that's cemented with blood. I can tell you about the professionalism and sacrifice of Private First Class Serena Butcher of Chinataw, Oklahoma, and forward operating base Lightning in Afghanistan, who gave her life for her country at age 19. Or maybe Charles Parslow, a Scot, who was a liaison to the American forces in England during World War II, who was instrumental in helping American Air Forces establish a nuclear presence in England in 1983. Or Lieutenant General James C. Rickard, commander of the Southern Watch in Southwest Asia from November 92 to March 93, who at the risk of personal sacrifice stood by his convictions and defied people ahead above him because he knew it was the right thing to do. I could tell you about other people too, but we just don't have time to. Well, no, while all veterans don't see combat and express willingness to sacrifice their life is a characteristic of military service since the Revolutionary War. It's not only the commitment to service that our veterans make. Only about 6% of American adults today have served in the military. It is this small, sticky-paged, talented group that enables our communities to function. Chances are that if you surveyed your local police or fire departments or EMS groups, you would find that a disproportionately high number of their members are veterans. When an emergency hit, there's a good chance it's a veteran who is first to respond. Whether it's hurricane relief, defending our interests abroad, search and rescue, America is fortunate to have such people willing to voluntarily risk their lives for us. When a veteran leaves the military, though, he or she is likely to be a contributor to our communities, maybe a school teacher, band collector, business owner, real estate agent, medical professional, maybe even a lowly attorney. Regardless of occupation, veterans take their job seriously. They vote in higher percentages than non-veterans, and they are more than likely to volunteer in their communities. And they are less likely to get involved in crime or to live in poverty. They contribute to the society. It's what veterans make our neighborhoods better. And by virtue of your attendance here today, you have shown appreciation for veterans. The people here are veterans, friends of veterans, families of veterans, co-workers of veterans, and neighbors of veterans. And it's up to us to ensure that every veteran feels that his service to the country is appreciated by his fellow Americans. Their families also served and sacrificed as well. Military spouses had to endure career interruptions, frequent changes of address, and a disproportionate share of parental responsibilities. Children often had to deal with changes in school, separation from friends, and hardest of all, the uncertainty whether mom or dad would live to their next combat tour. Wars need advocates, and that's why the American Legion exists, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars and Disabled American Veterans and Military Officers Association, and many, many others need to help our veterans and give them the honor and trust that they have earned. They're there to serve the veterans, the families, and the communities. Veterans need each other, but more importantly, our country needs our veterans. But the memories of war and the sacrifices made and difficulties transitioning to civilian society have taken a toll on too many veterans. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, more than 17 veterans take their own lives to age 10. regardless, all agreeing one society is too many, or one society is too many. And we call on all Americans, all of us gathering here today, to be the one to say, reach out to a veteran that you think may be struggling. Listen to what he or she is doing. Ask how he is. But most of all, listen. Listen. Remember 3 numbers, 988. This is the National Crisis Line for anybody who's having suicidal thoughts. The situation may seem hopeless today, but it will look better tomorrow. When the person realizes that they have the support of people in the genuine nation. There's no better way to thank a veteran for their service than to letting him or her know that we have their back. After all, veterans have had America's back for 250 years, humbly and proudly keeping our nation free, no matter the pain. Just doing their jobs, Captain Larry Taylor, Private Serena Butcher, and Charles Parslow, and General Rickard would say with the same measure of modesty, just doing my job. Thank you all. God bless America and God bless our veterans. Remember,
Good morning. My name is Jim Quinn. I'm ex-Air Force. And I'd like to say, first of all, a couple of words about why I joined the Air Force many years ago. It is really quite simple. It's because they're recruiter. And those of us who've gone to recruiting offices to join the military know recruiters never lie. We know everything they say is factual. We know everything they say is correct. So the Air Force recruiter really made it sound great. And for example, he explained that joining the Air Force really sets you up for the rest of your life. He said, for example, did you know that Air Force veterans usually come trained in more disciplines or career fields than you get in any other service and still use them in your civilian life? And he gave a few examples: jet engine repair, any type of airport work, lots of mechanics, heating and air conditioning. I said, so sign me up. He also said another thing you might find really wonderful is that so many Air Force bases are located in resort areas. Panama City, all over Florida, as a matter of fact, Southern California, to coastal Texas. I said, say no more, sign me up. So right away, I went to basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. Nice.
I thought about that first comment about careers, civilian careers, as I left San Antonio and flew to Lowry Air Force Base in Denver, Colorado to start munitions and weapons school. Hardly a civilian occupation. And then as I put in my hitch in the Air Force and I had to go to one last base, I thought about those green bases in sunny areas on the flight to Grand Forks, North Dakota. But hey, it was a wonderful 4 years. I'm glad I did it. I would do it all over again. My real reason for being up here is to talk a little bit about the Veterans Memorial Park out in front of this building. I represent a group of people, of which I'm one of several, who spend quite a bit of time at the park continuing to maintain it. Also to maintain the exhibits in the park and look for other exhibits in the park. One thing that's bothered us for a few years is that most of the exhibits there hail back to the era of the 60s and early 70s. There's one real good reason for that is we can get equipment from that era. The Marine A4 Skyhawk jet operated in the 60s and the 70s. The Air Force T-33 trainer operated in the 1950s and 60s. And we have the USMC, the Mighty Mite, which the Marines may still be using those. The Marines do a wonderful job taking hand-me-downs from the other services, making it work well. So, not a dig at them. And then, so we had been looking for quite some time to find something representative of what is commonly called the global war on terror, which and sad to say this, began roughly 1990 and really continues in some ways to this day, but everyone says it officially ended in August of 2021. But we won't talk much about that. The fact of the matter is that hundreds of thousands of our military fought and lived in what is commonly called the sandbox now of the deserts of Afghanistan and throughout the Middle East. When we talk about Vietnam, one aircraft of all aircraft and some that represents that conflict is certainly the Huey helicopter. When someone thinks of Vietnam, they think of the Huey. When someone thinks of the war in the desert, I don't know about all of you, but what I think of is the Humvee, which is the kind of a desert tan colored method of transportation for troops, supplies, and so that we use commonly in Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere. The Humvee went through many iterations. The first iteration was a smaller vehicle, and we have found one and acquired it for display in the park. So we're real happy to mention that, and we have it fairly soon. All we have to do with our group of volunteers is sand it down, paint it desert tan, pour a concrete pad, put it in the park. Doesn't sound like much, but it's actually quite a bit. By the way, if you think this is a plea for volunteers, you're right. So we're looking forward to getting that done. We continue to do items of upkeep in the park, and one of which is, more recently, we have what is called an internal flame in the park, a little gas jet that seems to be flaking inside of a big artillery round. I just call it the big bullet, but it had fallen in disrepair, and we sanded that down to stainless steel metal, repainting it with high temperature paint so the flame wouldn't blister the paint off, and repaired that just within the last 10 days. The park is maintained entirely by people like me, and a lot of these people standing around in other words, people who've been in the military, veterans. I would say have nothing better else to do, but that's not true. It's just that the park needs to be maintained. We have a reputation with the Sequatchie County Veterans Memorial Park as being one of the crown jewels of such parks throughout the country. Anyone who visits it can't believe how well it's kept, what good condition the aircraft in that park is in, and how we work hard to continue to maintain this. So, as I say, volunteerism is always great. Your donations are always appreciated too. We do have a donation park out front at the park, but you can also convey your donations to any member of the park board or any other method. Also, thanks to the city of Dunlap and the county of Sequatchie for their assistance. And with that, William.
I'm past commander of the American Legion. I'm currently district vice commander, senior vice commander for this district of American Legion. One of the four pillars of American Legion is Americanism. And there's a group of kids that have been extremely supportive of the veterans and organizations here. I showed up today hoping to march in a parade, I'm sure. They showed up wearing their uniform, so I would like to ask for a round of applause for the Trail Life tribute. Thank y'all for all of your support. The monument down at the park is a living monument. We're continually adding names. This year, I'm up here to announce the names that have been added since the last ceremony. David Lee Johnson, United States Air Force, Global World Terrorism. Robert Taylor Harmon, United States Marine Corps, Korean Service Medal, and the Vietnam Service Medal. And Rita Mays Alms, Army, Vietnam era. So,
Good morning.
Hey.
I'm here to recognize the park board members, and as I introduce your name, stand up. The chairman of the board is Tommy Hickey. And that, Jill, the mighty queen here, just went over.
That is.
I would keep good. But the mighty queen here is what we affectionately call him. He has talked about the park down there. You see it is coming. But actually, I want to talk about Tommy here a little bit. He's the chairman of this park board. And you don't see all the work that goes in behind what you see down here. It's probably one of the best parks that I've ever been around or witnessed. And that doesn't come just by itself. It takes a lot of work. And Tommy didn't do it. I'll just say, if it wasn't for Tommy Hickey, we probably would. Then we wouldn't have this nice park that we have down here today. So another round of applause for Tom Hickey. And vice chairman, we'll talk about him. Secretary James Quinn, we've already mentioned. Treasury Nathan Smith is not here today. He's a pilot for United Delta Airlines. He's probably sitting on a taxiway for about the last 3 or 4 hours trying to get out somewhere. Sergeant Arms William Barker here. Our members, Paul Spencer, and Randy Miller is not here, and Alfred Myers is not here. Ad hoc members, I don't think any of them are here. Sequatchie County Executive Keith Cartwright, City of Dunlap Mayor Dwayne Land, and Chamber of Commerce Director Janice Heidiser. Where is she? There we go. I don't guess you got anything you want to say, do you, Keith? All right. Appreciate you being here. Also, I appreciate being allowed to meet in here this cold and inclement weather. That was praise that was done by our director of schools, or as I used to call them, superintendent of schools, Soraya Pierce. She made sure we could get in and got our audio person available. And also, I appreciate the support you give us. appreciate the support the county gives us. We have any other Keith McGunny commissioners? I don't think I see any, but they support us financially. And also the school board also supports us. She's very good at supporting our veterans. Any school board members right here, Melissa Mackey here. So we appreciate your attendance here today and your support. I also will recognize, since we're here in Sequatchie County High School, I'd like to recognize Sequatchie County High School's most decorated Vietnam veteran is here with us today, James McLean. And now we're about to close out here, and we're going to do some music. Staff Sergeant Tim Willis. He will play a medley of these military service songs. And if you hear your service, I appreciate if you stand up if you can, and not wave at us, do something. So, Tim, take it away. Sleep that. United States Space Force. United States Coast Guard. Thank you.
This concludes our program for the day. And in closing, we would like to, the board of directors, and all the veterans, like to thank the special people that help us throughout the year, keep our park beautiful as it is, those who contribute, donate their time. And as he said, we do have a park drop box down at the memorial. It's on the sidewalk as you go in, so just drop all your $100 bills, your debit cards, credit cards, not your debit, but your credit cards. We'll take those too. And then write your big on the back of it. We do appreciate everybody's help. Today, we thank all these students from the school. But this day, we do. They had the day off, but they took their day to come in and show their support. Sergeants, Mr. Taylor Willis, thank you. From the duty. Our guest speaker, thank you very much for being here, everybody. Jacqueline Bush, always such a fantastic. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 5772, locally here in town, American Legion, Post 190, Citizens Tri-County Bank, always furnishing the beautiful t-shirts that we have, sponsoring us, and the refreshments out in the entryway here. Sequatchie County High School, opening your facilities up to us. So rather, we appreciate you. All the good for us. The Valley Honor Guard. Speaking of the Valley Honor Guard, if any of you ever need their services for a loved one at that time, just contact your funeral home director who's taking care of your service. They have all the information. All they require is a copy of the Veterans DD 214. Today, being as brutal today as it was outside, I gave Commander Ron Barnett choice if they wanted to come to be outside in the cold or just skip and stay. And so they chose just to be outside in the weather, which we understand. These men are all volunteers. We're all getting in age. And to be sick this time of year, and, all the holidays coming up, it's just, we don't take those chances. Carson Kemp, our local photographer here in town. Thank you, Carson. Russ Kemp, Blitzo Telephone Cooperative, filming the program today. Thank you, Russ. Harris Monuments out of Cookville, Tennessee. They do all of our engraving in the park for us. The Sequatchie County Extension Office, Sheldon Barker and his staff, they do a good job down in the park of replacing the flowers around the sign out front of the highway as needed. Our volunteers that help us through the year is Clayton Septic Service, the Sequatchie County Rescue Squad. the Dunlap Police Department Chief Randy Phillips, and our Sequatchie County Sheriff's Department Sheriff Bill Phillips. We thank y'all for your safety. Bill Phillips. The sheriffs. And Channel 12 News here today. So thank you. And if I left anybody out, if I feel I'm sorry, I always do. Anybody got anything to add? Mighty Quinn said enough about Air Force today. She's rolled anyway. So with that being said, thank you for being with us today and celebrating Veterans Day. If you haven't thanked a veteran today and you see one, tell him thank you. They all appreciate it. So until we meet again next year, thank you for being here. Everybody be safe. Happy holidays.